The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission has lots of things in the works, from Lake Conway to protecting our local ecosystems. In today's Outdoor Report, Wake Up Central Skot Covert tells us how you can weigh in on their upcoming projects.
All right, it's Saturday, which means it's time for another edition of the Outdoor Report, all things hunting and fishing in Arkansas. Trey Reid from Arkansas Game and Fish back with us. Trey, a lot happening. In fact, some stuff happening in the next few minutes.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about hunting season, but we're going to shift focus a little bit and talk about fishing, or Lake Conway to be precise.
Conway, big talker.
Yeah, and we initiated the drawdown back September 1st.
Yep.
A lot of questions. I know with all the rain we've got, people are like, well, the lake's got water in it again. What's up?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a surprise. We expected that to happen with winter rainfall and spring rainfall. We're going to see some fluctuation, but the gates are still open, the pipes are still open. That water will eventually evacuate and leave the lake.
Right.
But if you want to know more about it, there's actually a meeting this morning at 8:30 at the Mayflower High School cafeteria, 8:30 to 10:30. Then we have another one Tuesday night, 6 to 8.
Two opportunities.
Two opportunities. Now, they're really more specifically talking about the boat lanes and improving the boat lanes.
Sure.
We know Conway is stumpy, right? There are so many tree stumps out there. Anybody that's ever fished out there has gotten their flat bottom, high centered on one of those.
You drive
probably
on
before.
I-40 and you can just see a field of
well,
stumps.
that's like with the lake down, you really get a sense for how many are out there. But we've had boat lanes for a number of years, 23 miles of boat lanes.
Wow, okay.
But when things happen, like floaters come in, and then they're not perfect, right?
Sure.
But we want to mark them better. We are going to clean them out through this renovation project. It's going to last a number of years on Lake Conway. But really what we want to do this morning, and again Tuesday night at Mayflower, we want your input. We got 23 miles of boat lanes. We're going to widen them. They're going to be marked much better with big telephone poles instead of the little T-posts that are in there now. Yep. If you've got ideas, we're willing to go beyond what's on the table right now, what's on the drawing board. Nothing is off the table. We will consider maybe up to another 8 or 9 miles of boat lane. So say you want to go from there would be helpful to have a boat lane that connects go to point A to point B from one lane to another.
Sure.
Come let us know. I mean, some of it may not be feasible, logistically.
But we're listening. We're accepting ideas as we craft the future of Lake Conway.
Absolutely, and that, accessibility to the lake has always been a big issue. People don't want to put their big fiberglass bass boats in there. Some folks don't, because of all the stumps. But this is part of the infrastructure improvement that will happen as we also improve the fishery and the dam. So we want to, and Nick Feltz, our fisheries district supervisor for that area, is going to be leading that meeting. He's also going to provide an update on just what's going on, because you look out there and you see the water come back up, what's going on? But there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. So if you have an interest in Lake Conway, Mayflower High School cafeteria, 8:30 to 10:30 this morning, and again 6 to 8 Tuesday night.
Two good opportunities to let your voice be heard and look the future of that lake. It's something very special to a lot of locals.
Absolutely.
Now is the time to weigh in. All right, earlier this week, duck season wrapped up in Arkansas, but the real work continues. Lots of discussions going forward. One of the big talkers this season was some old news that kind of resurfaced in a new way.
Absolutely.
And that's the ongoing work to save the green tree reservoirs.
Absolutely. Bottomland hardwoods and green tree reservoirs on our wildlife management areas, a critical habitat for a lot of wildlife species. We most often associate it with ducks and flooded green timber, duck hunting, what Arkansas is famous for. Sure. And we've been working on this for 7 or 8 years now, really longer than that, but kind of pushed it out to the public originally about 7 years ago. And we're having a meeting next Saturday, 2 of them actually, one in Pocahontas at the junior high gym. That will be 9 to 11 a.m. And then again, I believe it's 4, is it either 2 to 4 or 4 to 6,
It'll be on your website.
Yeah, it's on our website. I'm just drawing a blank right now, at Nettleton High School in Jonesboro. Okay. So 2 meetings, same day. And we're going to be talking about our plans for Dave Donaldson Black River and the infrastructure improvements and the renovations there that will ensure the long-term future of these bottomland hardwoods and these green tree reservoirs, and ultimately the long-term future of duck hunting in those areas in Arkansas.
Very special area, a lot of opinions, a lot of investment into that area. So just like with Lake Conway, now is the time to weigh in. Come learn the science behind what you guys are doing.
Absolutely.
and really engage in the conservation efforts.
We're going to have a lot of staff there. Austin Booth, our director, will kind of kick things off with a very brief presentation. We're going to open up the floor to questions for about 40 or 45 minutes, and then we're going to offer you the opportunity for about an hour to break out into small groups. We'll have our habitat biologists, the guys that work on the forestry conditions, on the forest conditions on these areas. We'll have area managers. We'll have wetlands biologists, waterfowl biologists. If you want to know something about this project, this is the place to be. Again, Pocahontas in the morning, Jonesboro and Nettleton High School in the afternoon.
I love it. All right, that's all the time we've got for today. A lot of opportunities to weigh in. We're getting closer to fishing season. Turkey season will be here before we know it. We'll keep you posted with everything you need to know. Until then, we'll see you back here next Saturday.